What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another bang. So in today's video, I want to talk about 4 teams that are overachieving in this NBA season. Now, just a grain of salt before we get into it. The NBA season has just started. We are literally not even 2 weeks into the NBA season. But I definitely wanted to take note of some teams that I feel like are overachieving, or are they? Once we look into these stats, once we look into their schedule and things of that nature, we will really see if they are overachieving. But with all that being said, before we get into it, I want to thank you guys for all the support that you guys give me on the channel. And I just ask that you keep supporting the channel. Keep going crazy on the comments. Keep going crazy on the views. Just keep supporting. But with all that being said, hey, let's get into the video. All right. So for the first team, I got the Portland Trailblazers. So I feel like the main way to tell if a team is overachieving or not is to look at their schedule. So what I do have up right now is the Portland Trailblazers schedule. Let's see what teams they have played in their most recent games. So let's scroll down. Here goes the preseason. We go skip past that, and let's look at the regular season. We have the regular season teams that they played. So the first team they played was the Sacramento Kings. Now, most of us didn't think that the Sacramento Kings were going to be that good of a team. Me personally, I thought they'd win around the 30 to 40s when it comes to games. So they cleaned up the Sacramento Kings. They got a very good win on the Phoenix Suns. As we all know, these past couple of years, the Phoenix Suns have been at the top of the food chain when it comes to the Western Conference. So definitely a good dub. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, me personally, I don't expect the Lakers to make much noise this season, even though I am a Lakers fan. I am realistic, man, and they just not that well of a constructed team. So still good dub regardless. Still a pretty good dub. Next up, they beat the Denver Nuggets. They blew them out the park, and I feel like that's a good dub. Me personally, I got the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs on my prediction when it comes to the Western Conference. So good dubs. I feel like around 3 of the games were pretty good dubs. So definitely good shit. And just some players that I do want to note when it comes to this team and just how good they have been is obviously Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is fucking crazy, and he's the reason for most of these 2 losses that these teams took. Phoenix Suns, he the reason that they got that 2-point win. Los Angeles Lakers, same thing. So yeah, man, Damian Lillard is a beast. But besides Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant playing great defense and attacking the rim, playing very solid. And yeah, so that's my first team. Do I feel like they really overachieving? I do. I really do. A lot of us thought they weren't going to be that good, but Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers are definitely proving us wrong. Now, let's look at some of their stats. Let's see if they got any stats that show how efficient and things of that nature they have been. Let's see. All right, so here's their stats, and let's see if anything jumps off the page. So they're 9th in points per game. That's pretty good. Rebounds, they're 8th. Assists, they're 29th. So that's actually not too good. And opponents' points per game, they're 9th. So it's really been the defense and the rebounding. They points per game been pretty solid. You want to at least be top 10 to 15. So they've been solid, but I do expect them to kind of come down further on in the year, just because although their points per game and things of that nature are high, they're not just elite. They're not elite. So I do expect them to come down further on in the season. Next up, let's take a look at the second team that I feel like is overachieving, and that is the Utah Jazz. So we on the Utah Jazz, and like I said, we got to take a look at the schedule first, see what teams they really were playing. Let's scroll down and see. So, we getting past the preseason. All right, regular season. They got a pretty good dub on the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, that's a team that I do got in my playoffs when it comes to my Western Conference prediction. They also beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Once again, another team I got in my playoffs in the Western Conference prediction. And also the Pelicans. So they got 3 dubs on some very good teams. Very good teams. Y'all see how crazy the New Orleans Pelicans have been. They've been insane. So they definitely got dubs on some very good teams. The only team they took an L to is the Houston Rockets. And they do play them again tonight. And I expect them to actually handle business and whoop them tonight. But do I feel like they overachieving? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. A lot of us had them as the worst team on the West in the Western Conference, but they definitely handling business out here. And some notable players that I do just want to go over is Lauri Markkanen. Bro has been crazy, and also Jordan Clarkson. So, as you guys know, I am a Lakers fan, and I used to see Jordan Clarkson back when he was on the Lakers, and I always felt like he had potential to actually be a starter and actually just provide a lot of, just points and just somewhat be an energy guy for a team. And he's definitely been that for this team. And it's just nice to see him actually, not coming off the bench, but actually starting. I love that because a lot of good players tend to not really get their shine just because they come off the bench. And me personally, I always feel like Jordan Poole deserved to start in this league. Now, let's look at their stats. So as you guys can see, they're 3rd in points per game. They're 5th in rebounds per game. They're 2nd in assists per game. And they're 21st in opponents' points per game. Now, their stats are looking great. Simple as that. I expect them to keep it up. I'm just gonna keep it real, which is crazy. Like, did I really expect myself to really be saying shit like this? No. I didn't, but just looking at the stats and looking at the dubs that they done got on some very good teams, I think they can keep it up. I do. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I literally had them as probably one of the worst teams in the NBA. But, hey, they definitely overachieving. Next up, let's take a look at the 3rd team that I feel like is overachieving in the NBA right now, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. So, the San Antonio Spurs, they are overachieving in a sense, and let's take a look at their schedule. Y'all see it, and for some reason, their schedule look different than the usual schedules. I guess they don't got that sauce like, the Portland Trail Blazers or the Utah Jazz. Who knows, man? But let's take a look at their schedule. Let's see who all they played. So, this is week 1 right here. The first team they played was the Charlotte Hornets. They lost to them. They got blew out by them. Second team they played was the Indiana Pacers, and they actually won against the Indiana Pacers. They also beat the Philadelphia 76ers, and they also beat Minnesota. So, do I feel like this is a solid resume, a solid schedule? Do I feel like they really got some good dubs? And in a sense, I do. Because Philly, I got them in my, playoffs. I got them in my playoffs for the Eastern Conference. And Minnesota, I got them in my playoffs for the Western Conference. But at the same time, I do feel like I got to add a little context. And this goes for all the teams before, even the Utah Jazz and the Portland Trail Blazers. For Minnesota, it's like they are a new team. They have just been assembled. They are trying to work Rudy Gobert into the mix. So it's like, I don't know, man. We got to look at this with a grain of salt. And Philadelphia, no excuse. They just got a good dub on them, man. I'll speak about not Minnesota, but Philadelphia tomorrow on the teams that I feel like have underachieved. Yeah, so tune in tomorrow for that video. But yeah, I'll talk about them tomorrow. That's a spoiler. But let's look at their stats. Man. So for their stats, they are 10th in points per game, 19th in rebounds per game, number 1 in assists per game, and 22nd in opponents' points per game. So do I feel like they gonna keep this up? Me personally, I do not. And the reason I do not is just because their stats aren't really blowing me out the water. No, they are top 10 in points. I like that. And they are number 1 in assists. I definitely like that. Greg Popovich is going back to his roots when it comes to the team ball. So I love that. And I definitely feel like a lot of these young players are going to grow. But the thing that really throws me off is just the opponent's points per game and them rebounds, man. I feel like that could bite them in their you-know-what in the future, and it might cause them to, take a skid when it comes to the wins. But anyways, let's go to the final team. But hold on. I got to shout some people out. So I do want to shout out Devin Vassell. Definitely good player, man. Definitely good player. Who else I want to shout out? Damn, I can't remember his name, but bro is a beast. Let me try to find him real quick. All right, so yeah, I also wanted to shout out my boy Keldon Johnson, man. Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, man, they definitely the future of the San Antonio Spurs. But next up, let's talk about the last team that I feel like is overachieving right now in the NBA. All right, that team is the Washington Wizards. So let's take a look at them. Let's take a look at their schedule first, and let's see what they got. Let's see what they done did, man. So far, they done played the Indiana Pacers, the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Detroit Pistons. Now, just looking at these teams, I did not have Indiana in my Eastern Conference playoffs. I did not have the Chicago Bulls in my Eastern Conference playoffs. And I also didn't have the Detroit Pistons in my Eastern Conference playoffs. So with that, me just looking at that schedule, I definitely don't think they will keep this up. Another reason I don't think they will keep this up is because their stats. They're 20th in points per game. They are 19th in rebounds per game, 15th in assists per game, and 6th in opponents' points per game. The only thing they're top 10 in is their opponents' points per game. But just looking at these averages and these stats, I don't think they're going to keep this up. I'm just going to keep it real, bro. I do not think they're going to keep this up at all. They did have a pretty easy schedule from what I can see. And yeah, they not going to keep it up. I'm going to just keep it a buck with y'all. But y'all tell me what y'all think about these 4 teams. Are they really overachieving, or is it a fluke? I'm going to say it again. Are they really overachieving, or is it a fluke? Y'all tell me down below in the comments, man. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and I'm out. Peace.